Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Monday morning where we get to take a few minutes just to ponder on something for the week ahead. And today we wanted to talk about something really, I think, very, very important to what it is that our lives are, the way we do things in our lives, the way that we go about, I guess, treating other people is probably one of the things that we want to talk about today. And that word, as you can see across the bottom of the screen there, is the word kind. Kindness is so valuable to the way we live our lives each and every day. So I wanted you to just take a few moments, and I'm just going to wait a few moments as more people get on board and notice that I'm on and that we're chatting this morning on this wonderful Monday morning. And I'm excited about sharing with you about this word kind. And we won't talk for a long time about it, but we will talk about how important it is to our world and to the world around us. In Scripture, in the Bible, in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, it was a book that was written to people at Corinth, the Corinth church. And in doing so, they actually ended up talking about the fact that, or Paul wrote some stuff about the fact that love in its action is kind. So I wondered this morning whether it might be just worthwhile having a look this morning at the word kind and what that actually can mean to our lives this week and every week for that matter, but certainly this week as we start off on a Monday morning and welcome ourselves into a brand new week. It's a brand new week where we can actually get to really, I guess, write whatever we want to write. You know, the old song there is, we can write what we want to write. We can make a difference by the way we write our lives and the way we actually go about our lives. So kindness is a big part of that. And so I just took a few moments this morning to take this word kind and make it what it needs to be, and that is an understanding of what it is to be kind, the actions that brings about kindness in people's lives. So I took it up, and as I often do, I love doing acronyms where we can actually just take each letter of the word and just break it down so it can help us understand what kindness is actually all about. So the word kindness, there's the first word or the first letter is the letter K. And that word there that I want for the letter K is the word keep. Probably not necessarily the classic word that you would want to understand or come from the word kind, but what I want us to do this week, and it's very, very simple to start as we look at this word kind, is the first part of it is to keep people in mind. Keep people in mind. If you're taking notes or if you're watching this later, write it down, whatever the case may be. Keep people in mind. What do we mean by that? Well, we mean by that people are so very, very important. There are people that are in our world that are very important to us. There are people in our world that maybe sometimes aren't necessarily important to us. People that we kind of brush by. People that, we might regularly see on a train or a bus or in our workplace as work colleagues, or people that we deal with every single day, whether it be our family, the ones that are closest to us, and oftentimes the ones that are closest to us are the ones that we actually don't take the time to be kind to. So being kind then is something that is a challenge for us, particularly sometimes for folks on a Monday morning. And so it's very, very important to just take a few moments to think about people and where people are at. On the road, sometimes people can get mad. Oh my gosh, road rage is a big thing these days. People get really mad, get really, really upset and annoyed and all sorts of things that you'd like to name. The reality is this, that sometimes we just don't know what people are going through or what they've been through when they're having a road rage moment. Whether they're tooting us or getting angry with us, they might be angry because something happened at home that has really upset them. It could be something, that's happened in their lives that has really left them devastated, and they're just in a state of stress and problems and challenges and all sorts of stuff. So the idea being that in keeping people in mind is an awareness that people may be going through some challenges today. People may be going through some stuff that maybe you just don't realize that they're going through. And in doing so, Remember the times when you have been in that state, when you have been in a state of stress, when you have been in a state of pressure, when you have been in a state when finances haven't been all that they could be, or things haven't been all that they could be. Keep in mind other people. Always keep in mind other people. So that's number one. The letter I, again, is a very different word to what we would normally do, but sometimes kindness can actually be interpreted as being indulgent, or indulging others. And I guess that's really, again, along the theme of others. Let's take a few moments to have a look at that. I think what we need to be is indulgent of listening to other people. And I think that is a huge part of kindness, a huge part of showing kindness. Now, we can action kindness by doing things for people. We can, do the whole pay it forward thing, which I think is hugely important to the way we live our lives as well. It's maybe another time, another subject that we'll look into that. But the reality is this, that if we will indulge others for a few moments, it could be the few moments that actually changes their life. It could be the few moments where we're really listening to someone. In my experience of dealing with other people, one of the things I've found is that those who are closest to committing suicide, or those who are closest to really getting caught under depression or oppression, suppression of various things in their lives, what I've found is this, is that when we get to that point, when people get to that point, they really need to be listened to. They might be making a whole lot of sense right now, but they just need you to be listening to them. Oftentimes I've found with my wife, what I've found with family members, is sometimes I just need to shut up and listen. I can offer solutions, and sometimes that's what's needed. But sometimes solutions aren't actually what's needed in the moment. And that's coming from a guy who's doing coaching and all that kind of stuff, where, we look to be solution-based. But sometimes people just need a moment where you listen. And in that moment, when you listen, when you hear them, when you listen to what they're dealing with, that's showing kindness. That's being indulgent of that moment, of that time, whatever it takes to actually just be there for people. There are times when you might have a conversation with somebody and you walk away and you think, oh man, I just lost half an hour, just lost an hour of time when I could have been doing this, I could have been doing that, could have been, and hands in the air and whatever else. But sometimes that will come back, and that person will say, if you weren't there for me in that moment, I wouldn't have been able to do this, or I wouldn't have been inspired to do that, or whatever it is. And I've had that happen time and time again in my life, where I thought, oh, that must have wasted time, or I've wasted so much time counseling with those people. I've wasted so much time. And they've come back to me in years later saying, so glad you took the time for us. That, folks, is showing kindness. That's definitely showing kindness, and having an indulgence in a good way to actually indulge people's thoughts and ideas and listen. The third letter is the letter N. The letter N is for naturally. It should be actually in our nature. In fact, it is in our nature to be kind. That's the way we're actually meant to be. It's the way we're actually meant to live our lives. The naturally that I'm talking about is the fact that underneath everything else, underneath us, being selfish sometimes, or us being pressured and under stress and under time constraints and under deadlines and everything else, we get ourselves in, as they say, we get ourselves all tied up in knots around the fact that we are not allowing the nature and I believe the nature of God to actually come to the surface, which is ultimately to be kind to others, to show that we are loving and caring about our fellow man. And of course, one of the things that's important about that is that every day and every week that we do what we do, it's so valuable to take a moment just to allow that nature of kindness to rise up and to be the thing that's prevalent rather than the thing that gets suppressed and pushed under. So we need to allow that nature, and I believe, as I said, the nature of God to rise up and to be kind to other people around us. That's really, really important to what we do. Lastly, and that is the word disposed. So D for disposed. And what we need to be disposed to is we need to be disposed to help. Instead of thinking about what I want for me, I guess, again, a selfish world, help me, help me, help me, help me. I want help. I want help. Now, people do need help. Don't get me wrong. And we need to be able to be there for others to help. But when we are disposed to help, it actually puts in play a whole way of actually doing things and doing things better. In other words, we are sowing into other people's lives, not because we're going to get something back, but the fact is that we do. So sowing leads to reaping. It definitely does. When we sow something into the ground, I've got a veggie patch just outside here in my house. And in that veggie patch, several things have grown. I've just put some seeds in the other day for, I think it was zucchinis. And those will grow. Those will become something soon. They will grow up to be what we need it to be. And I'll ultimately hopefully reap zucchinis. And zucchinis will be a great crop for us to be able to eat and to enjoy and everything else. So, but what we're sowing in our lives every week is what we're reaping the weeks afterwards. So again, whatever decisions we're making, whatever things we're doing like that, we actually end up reaping those things back. So have a look at your life at the moment. Have a look at what you're actually reaping in your life at this moment. If you've been sowing kindness into people, if you've been disposed to help people, then what happens is that will come back into your world, and it will definitely happen. Now, we don't do it, as I said before, we don't do it because we're going to get something. We do it because we're going to benefit others and bless others and feel and know that we can be fulfilled on the inside by helping and being someone who helps. So the word kind is what we've looked at this morning. Keep people in mind. Be aware of people around you this week. Be indulgent of listening to others. Take a moment, just those few moments that you actually sit with someone and talk with them is a huge act of kindness on its own. Natural. Allow the nature of God to actually lift you up and become all that you're meant to become. And finally, be disposed to help wherever you possibly can. Well, it's Sandy here from Gap Coaching this morning. Just if you can help us, we would love to be able to get you to help some other folks. We have a Gap Assist program that we do. It's only $30 per month over 1 year to sponsor a young man or woman and get them headed in the right direction. You can just see there on the screen where you can click on Gap Coaching, Gap Assist program. We'd love for you to be able to be a part of that and to help others around you. And listen, be kind this week. Be kind to others. Be kind to those you work with. Be kind to your family. And I tell you what, as you do that more and more, you will have that kindness come back your way. God bless and have a great week. Look forward to chatting with you again next week when we'll talk about some more valuable things that will help you grow and become all you can become. Bye for now.